That's
All right, guys. We're gonna go through this video. I just want to point out some of these arguments and that the Libertarian caller is making. Like, I know this is a channel, a Libertarian channel, and I am a Libertarian, but I have to go after these callers because they don't know their own positions, and this makes us look bad when we're arguing like this. So let's take a look at this.
All right, we'll do one more caller. No, we'll do two more. Here's 626. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Aaron from California.
Aaron from California. What's on your mind?
Oh, I just wanted to say that I'm a libertarian, and I know your, I guess your podcast
How does this happen all the time?
huh?
Sorry, no. That was just ignore the peanut gallery. Go ahead. Your name is Aaron?
Okay.
You're from California?
Yeah.
You're a libertarian?
Yeah, and I noticed that your podcast is anti-libertarian, and I just
I
wanted.
don't like to think of myself as anti-anything, but
Okay.
But I mean, if it's easier for a shorthand, okay.
Well, actually, my question though, what are you?
What am I? What do you
Yeah.
mean? Old?
Like, are you progressive? Are you?
I'm of the left. I don't really. To be honest with you, I've never been somebody who's been very too concerned with picking a name for my set of beliefs.
Okay. Okay. I know what you mean. I kind of feel the same way. I don't even like telling myself damn property. Kind of like a minarchist. I mean, I guess one of the roles of government that I wouldn't be like advocating, but I'd be complicit would be taxes and roads and military and police. But I think that's as far as I can go.
Taxes, roads, military, police, fire department.
Not really.
Not fire department. Okay. And,
No.
If you want to put out a fire, you pay for it yourself, my friend.
Okay. All
And
right.
so the police is just to protect mainly property. That's why the government needs to step in there.
Okay, so let's start here. Like, right off the bat, we have to pick a handful of policy positions that we care about and that we want to advocate for and push them. So this guy is going out on a limb on getting rid of fire departments. I know there is an ANCAP wing, and there's a group that likes to have these super philosophical debates about really out there libertarian policies, but this is not the winning argument, and to be honest, this is entirely like theoretical. It's just out in the air. So the general things that I hear are end the drug war, end the Federal Reserve, and deconsolidate power, return power to the states from the federal government. So right off the bat, if this guy just said fire departments are handled by the state government, I'm arguing about the federal government. I'm good with the fire departments being under the state government and states being able to choose what fire department policies work well for them and what fire department policies don't work well for them, and we can learn from states doing fire departments differently, then this would be a non-issue. Sam wouldn't have much to go on here. Because no one's advocating for fire departments to be handled by the federal government. So yeah, let's keep watching this.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a medium to honoring and respecting property rights.
Okay.
To
And
an extent, though.
yeah, to an extent. To what extent? I mean, so at what point can I go and take your stuff?
Well, I guess the extent of property, like, I think an example would be in California. There's this huge plot of land that's pretty much owned by one guy. And obviously that I don't necessarily agree with it because it's just empty land. And his purpose is just to, go for the highest bidder. And that's something I don't agree with. It's something that I prefer there be a little more reform to it, like a limit to that stake.
So
If that
you would
makes sense.
have government limit how much property you could own.
Depending on the use of it, not just the plot of land. That's pretty much.
Okay, so you would have government, but government.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? What is this guy even arguing? So now he doesn't believe we should have fire departments, but he thinks that the government should decide based on how you're using your land, how much land you should be able to own, and how much land you shouldn't be able to own. What? What is this? The argument is massive landowners, huge corporations, they hold onto their power by lobbying government and getting policies that hurt small competition and protect their position in society. So no, the argument that the government should choose how much land you can own is not a libertarian perspective. A libertarian perspective would be is if we limit the size of the federal government, then it would be much harder for large income, then income inequality would be somewhat alleviated because the rich wouldn't have the tool of the state and force of the state to solidify their position with wealth. So here, let's listen to this guy go on this tangent.
government would have the ability to limit how much property you could own.
Depending on the use of it.
No, I
kind of
understand
sounds
that. I understand that you have a certain criteria that you would develop as to when government could step in and stop your accumulation of that property. But you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, but not necessarily a fire department. You think that should be privatized. So if you don't have money, you burn.
Okay.
You burn.
Okay, so Sam's totally right here. This makes no sense. It's definitely not a libertarian. This guy called in and said he's a libertarian. He's arguing for like some shit that's crazier than communist China. Like, you can't follow this position, and Sam's right to say, hey, your positions make no sense here. Because they make no sense. He wants to get rid of state functions and then have the federal government step in to take away your property, but somehow this is libertarian? Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but that's sort of, if I said to you, like, hey, I'm going to light your house on fire. The fire department might not necessarily show up. Would you?
Well, no. I mean,
if you intentionally
try to burn someone's property, of course.
Oh no. Okay, well, let me do this scenario.
Like you're talking about some kind of natural disaster, I'm assuming, right?
No. Let's say this. Do you believe in rental properties?
Sure.
Okay. So you're renting a property from me.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't believe in government having any type of like restrictions on like, I mean, do you believe in codes, like building codes?
No, not really.
Okay,
I think
fair enough. Now, are you an electrician?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Not really. I do electronics, but no, I haven't fitted a house.
All right.
Okay.
So I've got the house there, and guess what I did? Now you don't know this because you don't have one of those machines that you don't have one of those laparoscopic video cameras that can go into the walls. But you know what I did? Save some cash. I wired it pretty cheaply in your house. I didn't. My fuse box doesn't measure up to your load and this and that. And but you know why I did that? Because I got a decent amount of insurance, and I'm not going to spend the money on you because you're a renter. And this thing starts to burn. And of course, I haven't paid for a fire department because I got fire insurance, man. I don't care. And you burn and die. You're okay with everything that just took place in that scenario, correct?
No, I mean, I think that's kind of horrible that someone was negligent in constructing a home, and which
negligent. What do you mean negligent? What is the definition of negligence in your world? Who sets up that definition of negligence? I did what was in my most economic interest. You did what was in yours. Why do you think you're living there?
Okay. Then maybe to counteract that problem is the solution is to know.
Okay, the argument for this, and I'm glad Sam brought up electricity. So I am an electrician. I'm involved in the electrical industry, and any electrician will tell you that Underwriter's Laboratory holds down the fort with electrical equipment. The panel being listed and correct is UL. It's a UL listing. Underwriter's Laboratory is private. They have a reputation to protect, to make sure that they're not listing things that could burn down. Now, you can install non-UL listed equipment. You can buy electrical equipment on Amazon and get it shipped in from China. And you can go install it in a house. Sure, you can. But the liability is insane. No one does, because UL Laboratories does a great job. The city inspectors really do nothing but get in the way. I mean, they really don't. The city inspectors, anyone who works construction will tell you that the inspectors from the state don't care. Like, they don't give a shit. Underwriter's Laboratory does, because if they screw up, their business goes out of business. And they care in both directions, whereas the state has a natural fallacy to reject more than it approves. So Underwriter's Laboratory doesn't want to reject a safe product that is cheaper and helps people and helps the industry, because that harms the reputation as well. But the state will look so much worse if they approve something and it burns someone's house down than costing homeowners 7% more on their electrical installations because they didn't approve something that was safe. And that's the fallacy of all government regulatory agencies. So the argument, the libertarian perspective, was that states individually should mandate regulatory agencies that are private, but or states should be free to regulate these industries however the hell they want to, but it should be state and not federal, as it already is with electricity. So some states could rely more heavily on private regulatory agencies. California would probably choose to do everything under the government, and then we could learn from what works better and what works worse. But the argument is not whatever this guy's arguing. I don't even know what he's arguing. Like, his argument makes no sense. And this is a problem for libertarianism in general. Like, this isn't okay. We cannot be arguing like this. It makes no sense.
what you're living in. I mean, if that's becoming a problem, then I think the
so
knowledge of knowing.
If you don't have your electrician's degree, that's not my problem.
You don't need you don't need electrician's degree. You can actually get advice from other people, from other guidelines that would know. I mean, it's called education, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're gonna be good at how are you on HVAC? Because I also cut some corners. Yeah, I cut some corners on the whole furnace thing, and there may be some carbon monoxide in your apartment. But now it's you can't smell it. But there's no government that's going to tell me I can't put carbon monoxide in if it's going to cost me money.
Well, you can. I mean, you're a consumer. You can tell them, oh, make sure there's no carbon monoxide. There's nothing like that.
Okay. There's no. I don't. You know what? To be honest with you, I don't know. Do you want to move in or not?
You don't know? Well, then find out.
Well, I don't want to. Do you want to move in or not to my house? You want to move into my apartment?
I mean, sure. I mean, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. I think I want to know more.
Go across the street to my friend Bill's place. Because guess what? He's going to tell you the same thing.
We never know. I might actually know more. Like maybe that person will actually know. Maybe it's not Bill. Maybe it's Steve will tell me.
Yes.
And then I'll I mean, it's the same thing with cars. It's like.
Okay, here we go. Bottom line with a lot of these arguments, I hear these loops constantly with people who call themselves libertarian and don't know a thing about anything. One of the foundational properties of libertarianism, of liberalism in general, classical liberalism, the liberal thinkers. I don't mean, left-wing, progressive, whatever liberal means today. I mean classical liberal, Adam Smith, John Locke. One of the foundational properties is functioning tort law and voluntary contracts. Functioning tort law. You need courts where if some homeowner, you can do this now, a homeowner can go install something that's leaking carbon monoxide and kill tenants. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, especially as a homeowner. You're free to do work on your own property in the United States. Like, you can go do this. Exactly what Sam is talking about. No state body is going to come stop you. But why don't people do that? I mean, they do more often than this is making it sound. But the incentive not to is that we have a somewhat functional court system. We have a court system functional enough that through a ton of expense, you can go hold someone liable if this happens and it kills somebody. And that court system is absolutely necessary for the functioning of a state. In fact, our court system is not as accessible as it needs to be to everyday people. You really can't have a free market without functioning court systems for people to be held liable for damages they cause on other people. I mean, that's absolutely vital to any of this working. So I don't know what this guy is even saying or what he's arguing, but the response here is you need a healthy, functional court system that everyday people have access to so that you can hold people accountable if they do something like this. And that will create an incentive to install things that are listed by regulatory agencies or companies, to do the work correctly, to use someone who's bonded and insured, to use someone who has a good reputation. That's how this works. That is the argument. Whatever this guy is saying is not the argument. This is so massively infuriating. I mean, this just ruins our position. This is why the Libertarian Party's a joke.
Like that.
Actually, no, it's not the same thing with cars because where do you live? California? You got lemon law, right? It's illegal for someone to sell you a car that has like the odometer's been turned back or there's problems. In fact, if you buy a used car, you can return it within a certain period of time because of that lemon law. But in your world, government doesn't have the ability to do that because that expands government, right? Because you have to be some agency to do this.
You're making a lot of assumptions. I'm not saying like if I get a lemon, like, oh, I'm not going to like do something about it. Like, oh, tough luck, buyers beware. Like I said, I mean, I do believe in government when it comes to contracts, property rights, and I like the list. I do believe in contracts. So if I have a contract and I tell that person, oh, are you sure the odometer hasn't been spun? Yes, if you haven't done that, you didn't do any of that. All right, let's sign a contract. Make sure everything is perfect.
I got news for you. I got news for you.
Yeah. What is it?
And this is why we have lemon laws. Because you know what happens in the world that you're talking about? All the car dealers say, like, can we just all agree here? We're not going to give contracts. We're not going to give you an assurance on the car. No.
Okay, then you're a consumer. Don't buy it.
Right. And guess where you'll buy your car? Nowhere. Because why do you think?
That's your imagination.
No, that's not my imagination. Why do you think there is a lemon law? Why do you think a lemon law existed? Because there was no reason for one?
Of course.
Or do you think that
I don't believe
do you think that lemon laws preceded the actual manufacturing of cars?
You know what you should do, Mr. Seder? You should if that's
It used to take forever to pull together presentations, but it always surprises me what we can create for free with Canva. Seeing how quickly our team turns their scribbles into a stunning presentation.
A huge concern. Let's just say there is no lemon law. If you're really concerned about it, then make an organization to ensure that vehicles are good. They actually have organizations for electronics.
Hold on, wait a second.
Not
I'm still in my course learning about electricity so that I don't burn up in my house.
I mean,
there's no code.
But you seem really concerned about it, so maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
I mean, that's why he's enrolled in electricians and HVAC lessons.
And I don't mean to
I
be.
would imagine that politician who introduced the lemon law was like, nobody needs this, but I'm going to.
Okay, I don't know how they're into lemon laws. I don't know where lemon laws would fall in a libertarian perspective, but they are so lost in the weeds. Like, Sam's been able to pull him so far into the weeds. This guy should be saying cost of living and inflation, war on drugs, foreign wars. That's it. Because this is what's going to happen. Like, no, states have rights to decide how damages in courts are going to work. And if lemon laws are part of it, that's fine. It just shouldn't be federal. And it isn't right now. That's all state court systems. So, what are they even arguing about? We can't get dragged into the weeds like this. This is so nonsensical. They're at lemon laws. Like, I don't know. The foreign wars need to end. The war on drugs needs to end. And we have to stop printing money. We have to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Like, that is what they should be doing. But what are they doing right now? What is this guy doing for libertarianism or pushing any libertarian policy by arguing with Sam Seder about the legitimacy of lemon laws? I don't know. That's it for me today. I just want to put this out here. It's super infuriating. Please, guys, let's just please try to do better.